What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Celtics Daily with me, Mike Zakarian, with a little more pep in the step after the Celtics got their first W last night, which we will get into here momentarily. But before we do, if it's your first time here hanging out with us, make sure you do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, get involved in the chat, like the video, do all the things. Give us a little boost out there. You want to know why? Because I need a boost. Because I'm too old to be trying to stay up to watch World Series games, okay? I was like, this is going to be a night of sports. I had Monday Night Football on my phone. I had the Celtics on the screen. The Celtics game winds down. We pivot over to the World Series. And then much like 2018, which was brought up 75 times last night, this World Series game went on and on and on. And then even if you were rooting for Toronto, you kind of knew in the back of your mind that you were seeing something nuts. And, of course, a Freddie Freeman walk-off home run. I didn't make it to the 18th inning, though. Let's be transparent about this. I think I made it to the 15th, and then I woke up at like 4 in the morning with drool on my face. And that's where we're at right now. So I will be stumbling over my words. There will be bags under my eyes. This is going to be a long week. Can't be Tuesday and already be dragging like this, but yet here we are. Speaking of dragging, Celtics dragged themselves to victory last night. They now move to 1-3, and that was, this was a gutsy win, both in like the pretty ways and the unpretty ways. I was following along throughout the day yesterday because I was curious if Jaylen Brown was going to play in this basketball game. We knew he's not 100%, even though he had a couple of really good performances, specifically against Detroit, where he really got going on Sunday. The Celtics were on a back end of a back-to-back. They were traveling from Detroit to New Orleans. And I was like, man, I wonder if we get a Q tag. And then bang, right around 1 o'clock, as the Celtics reported, maybe it was a little bit earlier than that, as the Celtics reported, JB gets a Q tag, but it's also followed by a Zion Williamson Q tag. And then if you're someone following the betting lines, the Celtics went from 3.5 point underdogs to 1.5 point favorites. So it kind of led me to believe that no Zion and no JB, and that is what we got. But what we really got was Anthony Simons arriving as a Boston Celtic. Let's go over some of the stuff. We're going to do some positive, then maybe a little nitpick there too. Some Joey Maz concerns just in general. And then we'll bounce around the league a little bit. So the Celtics win this one 122-90, but here's the difference, okay? The difference is in that fourth quarter where they outscored the Pelicans 35-12. The fourth quarter, they ran away with it. This game was in the balance too for quite a while. Jaylen Brown actually got subbed out, I think, after picking up his fifth foul with like 10, I forget how much time was left. A lot of minutes left in the fourth quarter. He picks up his fifth. He goes to the bench. There's like a big play where I think it was it DeAndre Jordan? Somebody down low. Looks like they're going to get a free run at the rim. White gives it a block. Simons goes down, knocks a shot on the other end, and then bang, the Celtics were off and running. And let's just start with Simons, and then we'll move around there. So Simons, 32 minutes off the bench. He goes 9 for 17 from the field on this one, 6 of 13 from 3. He had 25 and 6, and he got going. He was wet, was knocking them down from all over the court. He looked really, really good out there. So give Simon some love. That's kind of the six-man production we're looking for. Just a shot of energy off the bench. For the bench, it was pretty condensed for the most part, although today it was Luka Garza getting some minutes and Baylor Shireman, while Hugo Gonzalez didn't play at all. Before we talk about that, Josh Minot entered the starting lineup. So Josh Minot gets like a DNP, and then he starts. Hugo starts and then gets a DNP. It's a little confusing, but Minot, he looked great. In 28 minutes, man, only took 3 threes, but made one of them, right? 1 for 3 from 3. He went 6 for 9. Nice from the field. He finished the game with 15 points, 9 boards, had a steal and a block. He was all over the place, just very aggressive, just like, again, like Simons, except on the defensive end, right? Just a shot of energy. I was going to say off the bench, but a reminder, he started. Keita crashed the glass a little bit more in this game. He honestly got 7 offensive rebounds. I was more concerned or like focused on the defensive rebounds. He got 7 offensive boards, only 4 defensive boards. Minot, as we mentioned, though, he had 7 defensive boards. JB had 7 defensive boards. Shireman gave him 6 off the bench too. So like there was a little bit more of a concerted effort. They got 54 rebounds to the Pelicans 35. So they actually won the rebounding battle. Now, granted, here's the starting lineup here for the New Orleans Pelicans. It's Herb Jones, it's Trey Murphy, Jordan Poole, the rookie Jeremiah Fears, and then Yves Missy. Their other guys getting big minutes are the rookie Derek Queen. You had Jose Alvarado, Sadiq Bey, right? So with no Zion, this is a very different team. And like and I don't want to take some stuff away from the W, but I'm going to take a little bit. This Pelicans team's pretty bad without Zion. So, which is nice that in the fourth quarter we ran away with this. I will say, watching this game, I was like, you got to be kidding me. So they outscored the Pels by 8 in the first. Great. They were up 11 going into the second. Cool. And then the Pelicans bounced back a little bit in the third, but in the late third, early fourth, like this was kind of staying close before the Celtics ran away with it. And so it was good to see them blow them out, because they should blow this team out. Like this team, especially with no Zion, man. Zion is like the only guy they have. But the Pelicans were fresh. They weren't on a back-to-back. The Celtics were. So not an easy back-to-back either, going from Detroit to New Orleans. They needed this W, and this is what, back to needing this W, that's why I think Jaylen Brown played. I think under normal circumstances, JB probably sits this game, right? He's not 100%. The hammy's a little funky. They're going to be their fourth game, a back-to-back, right? And then they play again, I think, on Wednesday and on Friday. We'll look at that in a little bit. So, like, with all of that, you're like, maybe this is a rest day. But I think that, like, the desperation was real. They needed to win this game. I think they felt it. You could hear it in the locker room after the Detroit game. A lot of Pritchard comments they were saying they were stacking W's, right? Like stacking W's, whether it was actual game wins or like just like the process. We're making sure we're doing the right thing over and over again, getting better, blah, 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 right? So that's what they're saying, but it didn't come in a win. Last night, it came in a win, which was good to see. Pritchard finally saw the ball go in the hoop for a little bit. That's fun. Still the team only shooting 34% from three. They got more threes up in this game, so that's good. They took 53. I know some people hate that, but that's what this team needs to do. They went 18 for 53. Hauser took 10. He only made 3. I mentioned Simons was 6. Luka Garza came in, and listen, I'm a Luka Garza making fun of her, making funner. Luka Garza came in off the bench with 19 minutes. He was a plus 14. He had 16 and 6 going 3 for 4 from 3. So the bench here was a little bit better, right? Between Luka and Anthony Simons, right? What was that? That was like 41 points between the two of them, plus 9 from Sammy Hauser. So just about 50. Like the bench showed out. I do think like the fact that DeAndre Jordan came in and was giving him the business in the first half. I believe Jay King reported this, but supposedly Joe Mazzulla during a timeout or during halftime was kind of like, hey man, DeAndre Jordan was like in street clothes like a week ago. DeAndre Jordan just got picked up. DeAndre Jordan is like 50. He just got picked up, was not on a team, and then all of a sudden he's giving you the business off the bench for the Pelicans. You can't have that. To Mazzulla, I think we can stop the hockey shift stuff. I think we can stop yanking guys out immediately. I don't listen, I think Hugo Gonzalez has been a bright spot, and I think Josh Minot has been a bright spot. The question I have, did Chauncey Billups this? Did he lose a bet where he's not allowed to play them at the same time? Why can't they play at the same time? I don't even mean like in the game at the same time. They're not allowed to play at all in a 48-minute game together. Like if they are both doing the same thing, right? These energy guys that get in the passing lanes, just kind of a shock to the system. Why can't they sub in and out for each other? I just don't understand. And maybe Mazzulla is still trying to figure out like what they have in Baylor Shireman, but like Shireman, I don't know. Shireman was fine last night, but for him to play 14 minutes and he goes 3 for 6. Who else got good minute? And that was kind of it. So it was like Luka, so then Xavier Tillman got 7. Chris Boucher got 3. The Chris Boucher thing, listen, I'm not saying Chris Boucher is a world beater. I am just still blown away that he didn't play, that he played so much in the preseason, and he looked good. And then to not even be serviceable to play double-digit minutes once the regular season gets underway. I mean, it's just a reminder that the preseason means nothing. But I'm fine with that. I'm not saying Boucher should be playing 25 minutes. I find it surprising, but whatever. The real thing is this Hugo mine? I need this to be explained. So, see, if you're someone with media credentials, can you ask, like, do Minot and Hugo hate each other? Like, what's going on? Why can't they play? Because those are probably the two brightest spots here, not named Jaylen Brown. JB2, by the way, only played 24 minutes last night, which is a pretty good sign that he didn't have to, like, really be overtaxed in this one. And that was a combo of picking up the fifth foul early in the fourth and then the team just going on a run so that you didn't need to go back to him, which I do think that's a really important thing. But he's been incredibly efficient so far this season. He really has. Like, if I pull up his basketball reference, he's been his first couple of games, he's not taking a ton of shots, but he's making a ton of shots. So to start this season, right? And again, his numbers dipped a little bit after last night because what was his line again last night? I apologize. I think what did I say it was? It was 15 points, 7 boards, and 4 dimes. So now he averages 26, 5, and 4 so far this season. He's shooting 50% from the field, 47% from 3. 47% from 3. Again, it's not on massive volume, but right now he's taken 5 a game. So, like, all right. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's taking almost 6 a game and he's making almost 3 a game. So, shout out JB for leading the way here. You love to see that. You love to see that. But I'm not trying to poo-poo it. I think that was an important win for Boston. I think this would have been like, yes, it was way too close for way too long, but it doesn't matter. In the end, the W was had. I don't care who was on the court for him. Like for the Pelicans, like, of course, this is a different experience. As I mentioned yesterday, I thought Zion was going to absolutely dominate our bigs. And so to remove like the biggest X factor for the Pelicans from the game is a huge win in itself. But this team needed it. This team needed this W. There's no question about it. And that's like a good, they could have easily rolled over here. This was like a schedule loss, as they say. They could have easily rolled over. Let's bounce around the East here before we get back to the Celtics. Just because if you just look at the standings, and we're at a 3 to 4 game sample size, all right? So it's like we're barely looking at stuff. There's 2 teams that are undefeated in the Eastern Conference. You ready for it? The Chicago Bulls and the Philadelphia 76ers. So I was pretty blown away by that. That's not what I was expecting. You've got the teams with 1 loss. You have Atlanta Hawks. You know, the darlings, the hipster picks of the NBA offseason. The Hawks and the Magic are a combined 2-6. They're both 1-3. Hawks last night. The Bulls, beat the Hawks and the Magic in back-to-back games. You got the Celtics are 1-3. Pacers and Nets are the only teams in the Eastern Conference yet to get a W. Raptors and Wizards both with 1 win. And then you've got Bucks, Pistons, Knicks, Heat, Hornets, Cavs, all with 1 loss and a couple of wins. And then, as I mentioned, the Bulls and the 76ers. And then there's 2 teams in the West that are also undefeated, which I just thought was fun, Spurs and OKC. So, anyways, it is way, way, way too early to, like, freak out about anything, even though my attitude is relatively negative. But it's just such a small sample size. I think, like, my biggest questions moving forward, as we like start to look at some upcoming games, that defensive stuff. I mean, the defensive rebounding is still going to be like the key to the game. It doesn't seem like we're like occasionally Cade is going to have a game where he gets like 10 defensive boards, right? But even last night, 7 offensive boards, 4 defensive. I think it was Shireman had 6, and I forget who else had 6, right? So I don't think we're going to have games where we're not going to have somebody average 10 defensive boards a game or 10 boards a game for that matter. I think this is going to have to be like a team. This is going to be an effort thing where everyone's going to have to be aggressively crashing the glass. And because of that, it might lead to wide open threes for the other team. Like if it's a long rebound and our Celtics are crashing the glass, long rebound, they're able to like set up into a 3 pretty quickly. So be it. But this is how it's going to have to be. This is how it's going to have to be because you don't have a big boy. You don't have a big rebounding boy. So somebody's going to need to do it. Let's look at the upcoming schedule. I know we did that a little bit yesterday, but I just want to do that one more time to just look at those potential matchups. Excuse me. We had too much content yesterday. You can hear it in my voice. So on Wednesday on ESPN, nationally televised action, Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley, who they just came off a win over Brooklyn. I had to tell you, Mobley and Jared Allen, like, That's going to be a little bit scary for the Celtics there, for the two big boys. I don't know who they have to deal with that. Mobley, too, offensively has looked a little bit better, but honestly, Mobley's for sure been their best player so far this year. He's looked great. Donovan Mitchell, sure, he's going to get 30 points, but Mobley's doing a little bit of everything. So that's on Wednesday. And then on Friday, I believe they are in Philly for our first Emirates Cup game. First Emirates Cup game at Philadelphia. Hopefully Embiid is still on a minutes restriction, or the way that he's playing, hopefully he's not. Hopefully he's not. I wanted to just go over the Emirates Cup the groups, excuse me. So the Celtics are there with the 76ers. They're in Group B. 76ers, the Brooklyn Nets, the Orlando Magic, and the Detroit Pistons. So those are going to be battles. No easy W's there outside of Brooklyn, who will continue to lose. They'll continue to lose. But anyways, those are our upcoming games. And then I just want to shout the Utah game, too, because Utah, I believe, is the third one. Utah, Washington, and Houston. That's like our next 5, I think. Houston's still a little funky, so I'm glad we're getting them earlier in the season. I know they just blew the pants off the Brooklyn Nets. Oh, yikes. Blew the doors off. Let's do blew the doors off. I know that's not getting edited, but I just want you to see me do that in real time. And so maybe getting Houston right now is pretty good. And then Utah's honestly looked kind of impressive so far. They are 2-1, I think, to start the season, with wins over the Clippers, which was more fluky than anything. I think that was like the first game of the year. But then last night they had an overtime win over Phoenix, who Phoenix looked like they were rolling over early and then came back pretty strongly. And Lauri Markkanen, I think, Lowry Bird, if you will. Lauri Markkanen had like 50 in that game. So anyway, Celtics got some tough ones upcoming against some bigs, too. Like, I meant, right, so that's Embiid we've got on Friday. I mentioned Mobley and Allen. Houston runs out 5 guys that are all going to be bigger than our guys, right? Tari Eason coming off the bench doing crazy stuff. They got Sengun, Adams, Capella, Amin Thompson, KD. They just got a bunch of dudes that's going to make it tough to rebound. The Jazz, Walker Kessler, Kyle Filipowski, Lowry Markkanen. Like, the bigs are really going to be a challenge here for the Celtics moving forward. So let's see if they can stack some W's, huh? Let's build some momentum, baby. All right, let's get to some of your comments from yesterday's video. Let's see if you guys were panicking as aggressively as I was, or if you were very chill. Before we do that, though, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe. Get involved. Let's get this up over 3K. Fergus Hart. Wow, I added a cart there. He said, "You're right, family. We need to get those boards up. Let's see if they can get that dub tonight." They did. The real Don was happy I brought up the Trae Young rumors, even though those aren't real. And then there's a lot of people telling me to relax. Like Jay Camden said, "I'll panic after 10 games." Still not happy, though. Drake May and the Pats keeping us sane. Kevin Sullivan yelled at me. He said, "Damn you." Okay. Wesley said, "I'm still not giving up on the new thesis. What was going to happen? There was a new team. Well, still not giving up on the thesis. We knew. I'm sorry. I'm still not giving up, comma. We knew this was going to happen. They're a new team. They need to get comfortable. Seeing a lot of good things in this game. If they would just play the way they do in the first half, we'd have some wins." Yeah. And then AJB said, not sure I share the same enthusiasm for the old Boucher. Doesn't really help with the problems Caesar having. He's not a great rebounder or shooter. Maybe he will pace if he runs the floor, but anyone can do that. I disagree with you about his shooting. I think Boucher can stretch the floor a little bit, but listen, if Minot and Hugo, even though they can't play at the same time, are going to play in the manner that they are, this might be a little bit more important than what Boucher brings to the table. So there you go. Stock Caps in the chat said, "I don't want to trade Simons. We need a big, but I would love to keep him." I don't think we're trading for a big. I mean, if we trade one of those guys like a Simons or a Hauser later this season, I don't think they're doing it to get a big right now. It's going to be to create some flexibility for next year, in my opinion. Don't you do it, bro, says Wesley Lee. Stand on Boston. I also, listen, I'm not a hater, man. I'm not. I'm rooting for the Celtics. But I also want to be realistic this whole time, all right? So I'm not going to come here and Stephen A. Smith and yell at you guys. I'm not going to do that. But I'm also not going to be like, sunshine and rainbows. You know, there's going to be times where stuff's bad. Samuel Henry in the chat said it's 1979 all over again. That's too far back. It's too early in the morning. I already told you I'm on like no sleep. I can't figure out what that is off the top of my head. And then Capers TV said Detroit Pistons sent me here to tell y'all to hold this L. Speaking of Detroit, actually, you know what, Capers? I hope you're still here. Quickly, let's go over the Cavs-Pistons game. All right, Capers? Cavs beat you by 21. Cade Cunningham, 155 turnovers again. So speaking of L eating, num 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 num. Appreciate everybody for hanging out today. Have a wonderful little Thursday. We'll see you back here tomorrow.